This week on Full Throttle TV, we get down with Antron Brown.
I love coming out here. This is Charlotte. This is the 4 wide. This is where it all goes down.
Catch up with FTTV favorite Fast Jack Beckman.
I love the sport. I love the history of the sport. And I've been coming to the races a long, long time. And there's nothing that compares to this.
And check back in with Sean Langdon in the latest installment of Hard Work and Dedication.
Got 32,000 horsepower going down the track at one time. It's a pretty good rumble down there.
That's all ahead on this 4 wide edition of Full Throttle TV. Race fans, welcome back to the Bellagio of racetracks, zMax Dragway in Concord, North Carolina, a city where racing is king and a track that believes 4 cars are always better than 2. I'm your host, Abby Tubbs. Today, Full Throttle Energy Drink and FTTV will give you an all-access pass to some of the hottest storylines and biggest names in NHRA drag racing. We'll begin our show by hearing from top fueler Antron Brown, a man whose infectious smile and outgoing personality have carried him almost as far as his ability behind the wheel. Recently, I sat down with the charismatic top fueler to talk about his Wally-winning performance in Vegas and a whole lot more. Let's check it out. We're joined on our Full Throttle TV set by DSR top fuel driver Antron Brown. AB, thanks for joining us.
I love coming out here. This is Charlotte. This is the 4 wide. This is where it all goes down. I'm looking forward. The sun's out. Weather's right. It's time to go out and throw down.
Well, let me be the first of the Full Throttle TV crew to congratulate you on your Wally in Las Vegas. It was amazing. How'd it feel to be back in the winner's circle?
It felt great, especially since we had Aaron's on the car with all of our Mako Tools distributor behind us. And I mean, we went out there, bro. We had to race Tony's second round. We had to go full throttle, or we were going home. And that Vegas race definitely was a statement for us. And we're here. I mean, we're here to compete. And this weekend here at Charlotte with 4 wide, it's going to be crazy.
You were in Vegas, and your team was all hopped up on full throttle. So did you go out and celebrate afterwards?
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I mean, yeah, I can't tell you, but you mix a couple other things with full throttle, boy, it's got you on time.
So we've heard. I haven't tried that yet, but I might have to do that. But, well, we are at zMax, and earlier this week, you called 4 wide racing a slugfest all-star contest. Is this sort of grand stage something that you look forward to?
I always look forward to coming here. You know, I'm a really nice going guy, happy when I put that helmet on and become a gladiator, you know, and don't like to get beat. I like to throw down, and I'll go with the best of them. I'm very competitive in nature, and when we come here, it's kind of, you're not just fighting another gladiator in an arena. We're fighting, it's going to be 4 gladiators throwing down at each other, and the first one to the finish line is going to win.
Well, you have a very famous person in your family, Grandma Brown. We haven't seen her out here in a while, but she's here joining us today on our Full Throttle TV set. We're excited to have her. And I want to know, who taught you how to drive, Antron?
Who taught me how to drive? I think she's right here. She's right here in the back. She used to put me on phone books, and she won't tell everybody this because we can't get locked up for it now. I used to drive her around while I was 12 years old.
Grandma Brown!
But you know one thing? I also told you, get behind the wheel and show me what you can do.
Unlike most guys, FTTV statman Lewis Bloom has never let me down. He comes prepared, always does his homework, and is right way more than he is wrong. And this week, Stat Guy is going to share with us who he thinks will take home a few surprise victories in the Pro Stock class.
Thanks, Abby. Here's some of my predictions for unexpected winners in Pro Stock Car this season on the Full Throttle Drag Racing Tour. Of course, you got to go with the obvious ones, like Mike Edwards, who won at Vegas, Jason Lyon and Greg Anderson, who are having a great season so far. And I have to stick with my pick for the championship, Alan Johnson, who will definitely step up anytime soon in Pro Stock. But some of the folks I expect to surprise you is Vegas runner-up young Vincent Nobile, who at just 19 years old has already taken the Nick Mitsos Dodge to a final round. V Gaines, who is way overdue at his Dodge. He's running well of late. Kurt Johnson. Nobody is more overdue in Pro Stock than Kurt. He last won at Brainerd in 2008. And, of course, looking for her first ever win. We've talked about her before in Full Throttle TV. That is Erica Enders. But thinking outside the box, he's only been to one race so far this season. I got to go with that Dave Connolly, a guy who shows up once in a while. Unfortunately, doesn't have a major sponsor, but he did that last year at Maple Grove. In one of his early races last season, he won the race. He is always tough on race day. The Pro Stock class, always exciting. No doubt I expect one of the usual suspects to win the championship, but don't expect to see some of the underdogs, some of the surprise racers to step up and win a Wally this season.
Still ahead, we find out what keeps funny car driver Jack Beckman moving so fast.
Fan loyalty in NHRA is second to none in any motorsports, and I think they love what they've seen so far.
Welcome back to Full Throttle TV, where it is once again time for my favorite part of the show, a chance to hear from FTTV statman Lewis Bloom, who is standing by with another great moment from NHRA history. LB, what you got for us this week?
Thanks, Abby. Once again, we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the National Hot Rod Association, and no better place than the John Force Racing Pit, because most of the history of this sport is all about John Force Racing, as we take you back to 2002 when John won his 100th career race, the only driver in the history of the sport to have over 100 race wins. But let's talk about current John Force Racing history. Sometime they are poised to win their 200th national event as a team. That is simply incredible. It all started with John Force back in 1978 when he debuted at the finals. But here's my stat. 1 out of every 3 funny car races since John Force made his debut has been won by a Team Force member. That is an amazing stat. Don't forget, if you want to find out more about the NHRA 60th anniversary, log on to their Facebook page, vote for the favorite moment, and don't forget to pick up the DVD on NHRA.com.
DSR driver Jack Beckman is off to a somewhat slow start to begin the 2011 funny car season. However, when you put a mic in Beckman's hand, there's no stopping Fast Jack from going full throttle. Let's check it out. We are joined on our Full Throttle TV set by one of our favorite and one of my favorite funny car drivers, DSR driver Jack Beckman. Jack, thanks for being here today.
You're talking about somebody else for a second.
All right, now Jack, you were quoted saying, and I'm going to read it here from your quote, that 4-wide racing is the most bitchin' thing I've ever been a part of in drag racing. Strong words from a veteran racer.
From a strong man. Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm a historian. I love the sport. I love the history of the sport, and I've been coming to the races a long, long time, and there's nothing that compares to this. But I have a lot of friends or fans that say, I want to go to one new race next year, where would I go? And this is always my answer, because I think it's the coolest thing that we've ever done.
So why is it so special to you?
I won the inaugural race here. It was 2 wide at that time. I would love to add a 4-wide trophy, but I wish that there was a box up at the starting line that we could let every fan stand in when fuel cars launch, because you cannot believe when you're watching at home how radical it is, that vibration, the shake and the pounding. When you're up in the grandstands, it's amazing. But when you stand on the starting line, it's something that you just can't believe is happening to you. It's just plain violent with 4 cars.
Well, you got a new look this season. You have the Aaron's Rents backing you. What's that been like?
You know, it's so gratifying to have a company like Aaron's, who's been in motorsports and been spending money on their NASCAR program, look over at NHRA and say, wait a minute, we're missing something here. The fans here are so loyal, and it's really the fans that got them to come over here. The demographics were perfect, but the fan loyalty in NHRA is second to none in any motorsports, and I think they love what they've seen so far. I think we've hooked them, and I think it's going to be a long-term partner.
Well, your teammate Ron Capps seems like a real fun guy, I must say. Any good dirt on him?
Dirt. I got mud on Ron. No, I mean, I literally got mud on Ron. We did that Infineon Speedway Children's Charities go-kart fundraiser, and it was raining. And let me tell you, I spent as much time off the racetrack as on the racetrack. I did manage to finish 4th. Caps finished 1st. I had a wonderful time. Dirt on Ron, please call in now if you have Ron Capps stories to share.
funny car driver Ron Capps is one of the smoothest and coolest guys in the sport of drag racing. However, Capps is also an avid music fan who always seems to know where to find the best tunes. Recently, our FTTV cameras caught up with Ron for our latest feature, Rockin' with Ron.
Woo! You're rocking with Ron. Hey guys, it's Ron Capps. Today, it's Rockin' with Ron, and we're going to talk about my favorite thing, music. Foo Fighters had just come out with an album. I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. Dave Grohl went back and recorded in his garage and did everything on analog, much like the rock guys did way back in the day. And it's another hit, and I really dig this album. If you like Foo Fighters, to me, they haven't put out one bad song. So it's a great rockin' band, and if you don't have the new album, I suggest you go get it. John Forrest, what would he listen to? I would definitely picture Sinatra, and I could picture him out there dancing with himself in his house to Sinatra with nobody around in the middle of the night. Another good band that I just started listening to is Cage the Elephant, and very rarely you get a band much like the Strokes, like the White Stripes, that just comes along with a different sound. Cage the Elephant is a great example of that. It's a new sound, it's got some good guitar in it, and it's got some groovy beats to it. So there you have it. Once again, that's what I'm listening to lately. Keep an eye out here on Full Throttle TV, and I'll let you know what I'm rocking out to.
Stick around, because still to come, I sit down with top fueler Morgan Lucas.
But it was a dream come true for us to be able to race Sean in the final, kind of like our home track. We grew up out there going to races.
Nobody loves the pro stock motorcycle class quite like our very own Lewis Bloom. The stat guy loves to talk about the bikes. Personally, I'm a fan of the tight little outfits the guys wear. So Lewis, who do you think's going to surprise some folks this season in the pro stock motorcycle class?
Thanks, Abby. Let's talk about some of the unexpected winners in pro stock motorcycle this season. Of course, to segue this part of the show, you have to talk about the racers you expect to win, like the Vance and Hines camp, Andrew Hines and Eddie Krawick, no doubt former champs Matt Smith, Hector Rana, and last year's champion L.E. Tonga. No doubt they'll be a part of the big show in the motorcycle class this season. But some of the surprise winners, some of the unexpected winners, no doubt I expect to see Gainesville runner-up Karen Stouffer in the winner's circle by the end of the year, riding the Geico Suzuki. And how about two-time Indy winner Steve Johnson looking to get back into winning form once again here in 2011. But of course, as the stat guy, you know I love the outside-the-box pick, and I'm going to go with newcomer Gerald Savoy. It's a bike that comes from the Don Schumacher camp. He bought the whole entire operation, and he's got the very talented Mark Pizer as a tuner. I expect Savoy to step up and win his first ever Wally, a guy who has virtually never been to NHRA races till this season. Pro stock motorcycle, you know how much I love it on two wheels. We'll see who steps up and gets the Wally this year in Full Throttle drag racing.
Geico top fueler Morgan Lucas got off to an incredible start to begin the 2011 NHRA season. Lucas took home his first Wally of the season at the Winter Nationals in Pomona after defeating his teammate Sean Langdon in the final round. Recently, I sat down with the Geico top fueler to talk about his hot start and a whole lot more. Let's check it out. We are joined on our Full Throttle TV set today by Geico top fuel driver Morgan Lucas. Morgan, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's a beautiful day.
Well, I want to start by saying congratulations to your early season success. You picked up your first Wally of 2011 at the first race in Pomona. What was it like to be back in the winner's circle?
I'm not going to say unexpected. You go into every race wanting to win, but it was a dream come true for us. To be able to race Sean in the final, kind of like our home track. We grew up out there going to races, and so it's cool. It was just bittersweet though, because you know we had that great win. We had a lot of fun, but it kind of gets you geared up for the rest of the race. And we've had some struggles since, and you know it just makes me look forward to the season. I think now that we know how to do it, we're going to be a lot better off.
Well, you also joked that you were going to take a picture of the points standing because it was the first time you'd be number one in the points standing. Did you take the picture?
We laminated it. It's top fuel. I mean, in alcohol drag show we did that, and to win the Winter Nationals and to actually go on the next race to the points lead's cool, even though it only lasted for like a week and a half until we went to Gainesville. it was still fun while it lasted. It's just there's so much great competition out here right now, and to know that you're racing with the likes of guys like Larry Dixon and Del Worsham and Tony Schumacher and these guys that have just been kicking butt for years, it's still pretty cool to have your name on top of that list in particular.
Did you guys make any changes in the off-season from 2010 to 2011?
I mean, I did personally. I felt like last year I didn't do nearly as good a job as I needed to do driving, and so I decided it's time to make a change, work on it, get back to what I really like to do, and that's drive these things and not worry about if it's going to go down the track. I can only control so much, and that's what I started to have to tell myself. And I feel like my driving's gotten a lot better since, gotten back to where I used to be. I think right now we're in that mode. It's just trying to get that baseline where you can go to the starting line at any point and say, you know what, we smoked the tires 4 runs in a row, but I can go out there right now and go down this track and still try to win.
Your teammate, Sean Langdon, we've been following around in the segment called Hard Work and Dedication for FTTV. We're following him around until he wins that first Wally. Have you had any advice for him throughout the years?
You know, he's had a couple rough years, but he has got to win. He's probably the most deserving driver, and I'm not saying I was always the most deserving driver, but I definitely was in the position where I felt like we had a lot of opportunities to win and we didn't do it. And I went 5 years without getting my first win. So I understand the pain he's going through, and I just told him he's got to stick with it, and when it happens, it's going to be great. It's going to happen a lot easier, and you just got to get that taste, that knowledge of what it takes to do it. And I try to tell him what he tells me. Don't overthink it. You know, it's just a drag race. You love to do it. Just go out there and do what you got to do.
Coming up, we go behind the scenes with Sean Langdon in the latest installment of Hard Work and Dedication.
We're just going to try to not beat ourselves, just make good, clean runs down the track, get the consistency back in the car, and try to make this thing a hot rod again.
Top fueler Sean Langdon is still in hot pursuit of his first ever Wally, and our cameras continue to follow all the action. Here's what happened last week on our special FTTV feature, Hard Work and Dedication.
We got Spencer Massey first round, which for us it's a tough draw for anybody really, but you know, we'd rather take those guys out early so that way you don't want to get them in the later rounds. That's really where they succeed. So if we can get them out early and get ourselves on a little bit of a roll, that's really all the better for us.
One thing with me, I try not to get myself worked up for any round, no matter who I'm running. I try and cut my same light, my same deal, but I do know whenever I'm running to Sean, there's no margin for error, because I know he's going to be right there.
Sean Langdon, Lucas Oil Team Machine, Nav TV, and Speedco Truck Lube. So the yellow and black out of that Don Schumacher Racing stable. Good Sean can do. These drivers are two of the best at reaction time in the class. Not too many guys that have a better average of getting off the line first than Sean Langdon, but Spencer Massey does. So two of the great young drivers, 20-somethings, ready to get it on. Now Sean Langdon was first out of the gate and then ran out of gas. A little puff and bang and some smoke and fire down there at the end of the racetrack. And they often say, I've never driven a top fuel car. I don't believe any of those are good things.
Something didn't go right. You know, they laid down a good run. That's part of drag racing. You got to take the good with the bad. And you're not going to have good weekends every weekend. This was one of our bad weekends. We just got to throw it out the window and just keep moving on for the next race.
And now, here's our latest installment of the Full Throttle TV exclusive, Hard Work and Dedication.
Pretty excited to be out here at the 4-Wide Nationals today. It's something that we don't get to experience too many times. It's definitely louder going down the track. Hearing 3 other cars in the lanes next to you. Got 32,000 horsepower going down the track at one time. It's a pretty good rumble down there. We're just gonna try to not beat ourselves, just make good clean runs down the track, get the consistency back in the car, and try to make this thing a hot rod again.
Pagana's in, McMillan's in. There we go, all 4 of them. Tire smoke for Don Lagana. Pretty good drag race at the top end. Your winners will be Larry Dixon and Sean Langdon. Both rounds so far won by the drivers in the outside lanes.
Feels really good to get by that first round. Starting out the season so good at Pomona, going to the final round, and then the next couple races we struggled a little bit. It really kind of starts to put things in perspective for you. You don't take things for granted getting those little round wins, but we know it's not going to be easy. We're going to have to step it up, and if you do get by that round, then you really got to throw down in the final round.
The drivers are all in the pre-stage B. Now they're all set. Little pop, little bang. Who's firing? Who's falling back? How about this? It's going to be Shawn Langdon and Larry Dixon running for the money.
We're getting ready to head into the final out here at the 4-Wide Nationals in Charlotte. We've made some good runs today, which is a good thing for us, a bonus. You know, we've been trying to get this car going back to being consistent and making good, clean runs, not hurting any parts. And these crew guys, man, they've been busting their butts. They've been working hard today, this whole weekend, as a matter of fact. So, you know, hats off to these guys, all the crew guys, man. They've been getting this thing going.
All right, Spencer Massey for Fram, Shawn Langdon for Lucas Oil and Mav TV, and then the two Alvinabi cars, the gold leaf lettering, the number 99 car. That's your number 1 qualifier, Dale Worsham and Larry Dixon. Massey, Langdon, Worsham, Dixon, your final 4. They're all in the pre-stage. They start 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all in. And that's going to be a great final round. Who's going to win it? Top end winner is Dale Worsham.
We ended up breaking a valve on it, which, you know, mechanical failure. That's just, you know, one of those things. What do you do? Nothing you can do about that. So, you know, we're just going to go to the next race. You know, we got the car going in the right direction. We made some solid runs this weekend. So we're just going to hold our heads up and hopefully improve in the points and keep up there in the top 5 and, you know, put ourselves in a good position for these next couple races to get a win and get ourselves up even further in the points.
If you missed any part of our show, you can always catch full episodes online at nhra.com.